I was gonna talk about the cost of living in Thailand. What's my cost of living, my expenses, and how much does it cost me to live here in Thailand? So listen up.
Hello and welcome to the Fraser.
Hey guys, Fraser Hat Yai here again. Drinking my Vietnamese coffee. No crappy canned coffees today. So I'm going to tell you a little trick of how I make Vietnamese coffee. So if you want to turn hot coffee into iced coffee, what you do is you make the hot coffee. Then you take another glass and you put ice in the glass, only ice. This is where the trick comes in. You put the hot coffee into the ice, and then the ice automatically changes it into an iced coffee. So that's that. Anyway, I've just finished filming some videos from my other channel, OTC, Online Teachers Club. Go ahead and check that channel out if you're interested in all things online teaching. And I thought today I was going to talk about the cost of living in Thailand. What's my cost of living, my expenses, and how much does it cost me to live here in Thailand? So listen up. Alright, so there's so many videos on YouTube about the cost of living. What does it cost to live in Thailand? To move to Thailand and live here, what does it cost? Now, I haven't pre-planned or thought out this video. If you want to watch videos from an organized YouTuber who plans videos before turning on the camera and rambling, then this channel isn't for you. Anyway, so let me talk about my cost of living, and then I'll talk about the general cost of living and what you should expect, and how much you need to come and live in Thailand full time. So my situation's a little different, because firstly I live rent free. When I moved so I met my wife about 8 years ago in Hat Yai. She has some land and she had a house in her name. So after living with her a while in Hat Yai, we decided to move 20-30 minutes out of time to where her land and house is, and we just moved into her house. We built some extensions on. We built an office on the front. We did some stuff to the back. We had some roof. We built another building to the side. So I did spend some money on it, but very little. Building costs is very cheap in Thailand, especially when you've got family friends who can do the building work. So that was cheap. So for that reason, I live rent free. So my situation is a little different. What do I spend on food per week? Basically, I probably spend about 5,000 baht per month on food, and that feeds me and my wife and the whole family, and my 2 stepkids as well. So how do I do that? Basically, I give my wife the money and she goes and buys the food. Mother-in-law buys the food, they cook the food, and I eat the food. Yeah. What other expenses do I have? Mobile phone. I probably spend about 400-500 baht on internet for my phone per month. Don't really use it for calling and texting, as these days WhatsApp, WeChat, Line is good enough for everything you need. I very rarely call numbers on my phone these days or send text messages. So there's that. Internet costs me about 700 baht per month. For that I get 50 megabytes upload and download speed, even out here in the country. I have very fast internet. Internet's important. One of the reasons we held off moving up here when we were living in Hat Yai is because I was waiting for this area to get fiber optic internet, so that it would be fast enough to run my business and to work online. So yeah, I think that's my main expense. Transport, gas. So we used to have a bigger car, a Fortuner, and on that car I was paying monthly payments. we decided to sell that, get rid of sell that car and bought a new one. I'm not paying any payments on that car at the moment. That's paid for. And then we have the motorbike, which is paid for. But gasoline, I spend very little on the bike. I put maybe 100 baht in it every 4 or 5 days, and that's it. The car, not much more, a couple 100 baht, 200-300 baht now and again. Like this little car is really great compared to the big. I used to have a big, like the old car. It's built on like a pickup truck kind of frame, and it uses a lot more gasoline. This one doesn't. This one's really economical. So spend very little on gasoline and petrol. What other expenses do I have in Thailand here? I'm not including business expenses because I pay for website hosting. I pay for different applications that I use in my website and my business and courses, and there's other things, lots of stuff online I pay for, but I class that as business expense. That's not my daily expense. That's pretty much it for expenses in Thailand. So my monthly expenses are under 10,000 baht a month. My base expenses. Now I spend more than that because I go out and go to restaurants, I take trips now and again, and other such things. But so that's my situation and how much I need to live here in Thailand. I'm very fortunate that my house is paid for, so there's no mortgage and there's no rent to pay, which is probably can be a big expense in Thailand. I work online, so there's no I don't commute, so I don't travel a lot and spend a lot of money on commuting. I have the bike and the car, which is now paid for, and gasoline costs very little. So yeah, under 10k a month. I forgot to add for my personal expense, electric and water. We don't pay water for our property because we have a pump, and we pump the water up from the ground free, so we're not hooked up to the government water. Electricity, obviously we need, and we pay for that, and we probably spend about 3,000 baht for the whole house and family per month. 2 to 3,000 depending on how much aircon we use that month in electricity. Alright, anyway, that's my situation. Let's talk about, because I get this question all the time, how much do I need to move and live in Thailand? Firstly, it depends where you live. If you're basically, there's two options: Bangkok and then the rest. Well, Bangkok, Phuket, maybe Samui, tourist locations, and Bangkok, and then the rest of the Thailand. There's kind of two tiers, and one is twice as expensive as the other. So if you're not living, if you want to move to Thailand full time, you see, it depends on what standard of. That's why these videos are so hard to answer, because how much it costs to live in Thailand depends on your situation, your expectations for quality of accommodation, how much you drink, or if you drink at all, if you like to go out to restaurants, and if you don't, if you have an expensive hobby or not. So it really depends. If you have a hobby like golf, it can be quite expensive. Golf can be expensive everywhere in the world, though, paying for course fees and memberships and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go through the basic costs, and then what it costs to have a decent standard of living in both tiers. So I call it the Bangkok and tourist location tier and the rest of Thailand tier. So if you want to go and live in Bangkok, and you want to move to Thailand and live in Bangkok, what's your monthly expenses? If you want a half decent place to rent in Bangkok, you're looking at 10 to 15,000 baht a month. I'm talking for a nice place. Food and accommodation, food, you're probably gonna want to budget at least 10,000 baht a month minimum in Bangkok. So that's taking you to 25k already. And then if you want to enjoy yourself and hang out and do all that kind of stuff, drink lots of beers, you probably want another 15k at least. So you're looking at 15, 30, 45,000 baht for a half decent living in Bangkok. So what's that in USD? Maybe it's like $1,400 minimum. If you're going to be in the country or in anywhere else in Thailand, you probably live the same standard on 25 to 30,000. So maybe $900 to $1,100 would be okay. Can you live cheaper? Yes, but I'm not talking about surviving. I'm talking about living. So those are your basic options. Yeah. Tier 1 Bangkok and tourist locations, you're gonna need $1,200 to $1,500 per month. Elsewhere in Thailand, maybe $800 to $1,100 per month to have a nice standard of living. What's the bare minimum? Okay, if you really wanted to live cheaply in Thailand, you could go up to some province in the middle of nowhere and rent a apartment for 3,000 baht a month, including maybe, let's say, 4,000 and your electric's paid and everything's paid. 4,000, that's very doable in Thailand. You could even find cheaper. Food, you could live on 5,000 baht a month, eating cheaply in 30 baht, 40 baht restaurants, cooking meals at home sometimes 5,000 a month. So that's 9,000, your basic expenses to live in Thailand per month minimum. You're then going to want a phone, so that's 500 baht. Probably internet, 500 baht. So that takes you up to 10k minimum amount to survive in Thailand. Now foreigners have expenses that other people don't, such as visa fees and visa trips and all the expenses based around visas. This is something that obviously Thais don't have to deal with. So that can really add up as well to maybe up to like 30,000 baht a year. Divide that by 12 months, that's maybe 2,000-3,000 baht a month. You've got a budget for those expenses in the period of a year. So that takes you up to 13. So I would say 15. Average of 15. Bare minimum to survive in Thailand, you need 15,000 baht a month, which is about, I don't know, what's that, about $700-800? Something like that. $700 maybe. Is it 15,000 baht? No, it's about $500. Yeah, about $500 a month. Okay, how do you live comfortably in Thailand? I'm not sure how useful this video is. I should have thought and planned this out. Let me conclude quickly. In my opinion, to survive in Thailand, you need 15,000 Thai baht a month. To live nicely and comfortably in Bangkok, you need about 40 to 45,000 baht per month. To live comfortably elsewhere in Thailand, you need about 30,000 baht per month. To live really well in Thailand, you need double. So you need about 60,000, 70,000 baht and more in Bangkok to live really well, and 50,000 baht in elsewhere in Thailand is enough to live pretty well in Thailand. So that's my situation, my cost of living, and the basic expenses for living in Thailand. Let me know what you think about this video, and if you think it was shit and you think, come on Fraser, don't just sit in front of your camera and ramble on. You got to plan out these videos. Let me know what you think, and enjoy the coffee. Hopefully the next video I'll be out somewhere else doing something, not just sat in front of my house rambling and drinking Vietnamese coffee.
Ở trận đấy.